chords.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Doskvol Dandies. This is episode 8.5, the Goat Caper Part 2. In this episode, we're going to be wrapping up the last little bit of a mission, a score that Bluefoot dragged the rest of the Dandies into, that they're hoping to scrape out a little bit of additional value. So I'm going to let the players kind of jump in their own words and remind everybody who they are and what's going on and what they kind of contributed to the first part of fixing this this goat race. So why don't we start with the man of the hour? Why don't we start with you, Bluefoot?
So I'm playing Dolben Bluefoot Westgate, a foundling raised in the dye works of Doskvol, who was an indentured servant, and became the character class Leech, or the archetype, the playbook Leech, which is basically a tinker, alchemist, gadgeteer type. I developed goat steroids to help goats run fast for another unrelated caper. And thought that I would get some extra value by employing it at the racetrack and caught the attention of scary people.
That will happen sometimes.
That will happen sometimes. I have been now forced into fixing the race for them, and I've drugged the goat that has to win, and now we have to see it through or turn the tables.
Nice. So there was also something notable. You noticed that one of the other horses had been negatively tampered with when you were in the stables.
Goats, not horses. Goats.
Yes, right. There's no horses.
Yes.
What could you possibly feed horses that would make them survive in an environment like this? For those of you watching at home who may be jumping in with only the mechanical understanding of Blades in the Dark, Blades in the Dark is set in the city of Doskvol, or Doskvol, which is set basically in a post-apocalyptic setting where the world has been destroyed by some forgotten cataclysm and there's no sunlight of any kind except for a little bit at dusk and dawn, and humanity lives in a small number of cities protected by lightning shields that keep out the ravenous ghosts, demons, and vampires that are outside of civilization's walls. So it's a little bit of a dreary setting, so only the hardiest life forms have carried on in Doskvol, including humans, some goats, and various forms of rats. But yeah, so Bluefoot kind of got everybody into this mess. He's done a pretty good job thus far trying to get everybody out and scrape out a little profit for the gang while he does so. Let's talk about what else happened in the last session. Birdie, or as you're better known, Dimey, what were you up to in the last session when we were sneaking into the stables?
I was attending a party, which is Dimey's favorite place to be. But it was so that I could get up high across the street from where they were trying to sneak into the stables. And I wanted to be able to keep an eye on both of them in the stables and on Jonas, who was on a boat on the river. And he was supposed to bring in our escape route, but
that didn't work out so great, did it?
No,
Nope.
he got his ass shot.
Yeah, and what happened to you at the end of that? Where did we leave you?
You're right. I can't throw any stones because I got
You got pinched?
stuck dangling off the side of a building, and I got extorted for more money, even though Abernathy apparently had an in with this guy.
That's why you didn't end up in jail. And also having to pay a fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Abernathy, let's chat.
Well, you see, I am the kind of de facto lead head of the group. And yeah, I had just gotten out of prison myself to find out all of this, so I had no idea what was going on. So I decided to tag along as Bluefoot's. Well, he was posing as a vet, so I posed as the veterinary assistants and tried to, run interference by talking to people so they wouldn't take up the good vet's time. And we also, I also kind of helped give the idea of ditching our disguises in the river when things went pear-shaped, and we were all like, we've got to get out of here after what happened to Jonas's character. Went down.
That was the other thing that happened last week. We made a lot of terrible puns.
It was always going to be you, Emrys, that started that.
Continue.
So, on our escape was pretty much we just ditched the vet's tools, ditched the fancy overcoats and whatnot, and wandered into the racetrack like we totally belonged there. And since I'm kind of the de facto leader, I hadn't discussed this with the party, but I figured I would probably be the one placing the bet on our behalf, unless Bluefoot wishes to. But I'd probably just kind of stay next to him because I'm a bit more socialite than he is.
I notice you're saying a lot that you're the de facto leader. We might have to have a conversation about this.
Hey, I'm the one who put it together.
Are we going to have a genuine Iron Man Star-Lord situation here?
If we're being...
You guys can figure out which one of you is which.
Hey, I said de facto leader because I started it. If somebody else wants to take over all the paperwork, be my guest.
All right, and that brings us to the most notable of our compatriots here.
only notable in the poorness that I rolled dice.
Notable in his absence.
So I'm playing Jonas Pennington. I am the Ghost Whisperer, kind of. So last session, my game plan was to, bring us up a boat up the little creek and have us a nice, easy way to get out of Dodge when things decided to go sideways, as they inevitably do. And someone on the river recognized me and shot me. And I freaked out. My new buddy freaked out, and we hightailed it out of there.
Yeah, that didn't work out so great, I would say, as a general rule. So
No.
You got basically Jonas, the character, got knocked out. So
Yeah,
talk to me a little
yeah.
bit about what that means in Blades in the Dark terms.
So my stress level got too high, so I took a trauma, which means I'm instantly out of the rest of the score, and I get to pick what my trauma was. In my case, I picked unstable, which means I get to be a little more insane and reckless than I already am, I guess. But that means I now have to spend downtime activities dealing with this as a result on top of everything else I have going against me. So
You're a man of many responsibilities.
that's one way to look at it.
Yeah. So today you're going to be... so Blades in the Dark has the opportunity, because you're essentially playing playbooks that are part of the gang, right? The idea is ostensibly you are the main figures of the Dandies. So you're going to be taking over a playbook character sheet that Emrys had originally created. And
Correct.
So you're going to be playing what's
Butch
the
Bishop.
Butch, right?
Yes. Speaking of which, can I get access to that sheet?
Yeah, absolutely. Blah, 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 blah.
Aaron, I figured it out.
What's that?
You're the Ghost Whisperer, and that's why you got sidelined, because we need a Goat Whisperer.
Yes.
Careful with that joke.
Ew.
It's an antique.
Sure-footed.
Yeah. Okay. So you should have access to the sheet now.
I do.
And from here, we are going to be moving into the next stage.
Could we get Emrys to give a rundown on Butch real quick, just because he's more intimately familiar with him than I am?
Certainly. Butch Bishop used to be a member of our gang, one of our rooks, which is a much more focused socialite. He's not so much the person who knows people, he's the person who talks to people. He is a true dandy in more senses of the word than just being part of the gang. His character class is a slide, and so what his special ability is, he can always tell when he is being lied to, for better or for worse. You can't pull one over on him.
Okay.
Nice. All right. So I've got you subbed in on the overlay. So what we need to do now, let's talk about the mission objectives. So the mission objectives were to ensure that the goat in question... What did I name that goat? Hang on, I have it here.
Was it like Billy the Kid or something like that?
Yeah, it was the Sundance Kid. The Sundance Kid won the race. You were going to try to get an edge over the people that had manipulated Bluefoot. And you were going to try to manipulate and basically get out from under them and also screw them over. Right?
That's my feeling.
Yeah.
It's game plan.
It's the next cycle, and it's the day of the races. Most of the activity of the last session took place when the kind of the steerage races happen, where more of the commoners are there. But this is going to be a main event, big race, lots of bets being placed. Now, what do we want to do? I'm not going to make you roll a new engagement roll unless you would like to. We left the situation with the majority of the party in risky. So I'm not going to force you to roll a re-engagement roll, but you can choose one. Choose to do one if you'd so desire.
Are we going to reset our load and everything, or not?
You can change your load, but I'm not going to... I'm going to somewhat limit equipment use on a case-to-case basis based on what would be appropriate for this just being like a few hours flashed forward from the previous part of the mission.
All right. Well, really what I was going to do is I was going to change my load from normal to light. Because now I'm not here to do much. I'm here to place a bet, watch the races, and be personable.
That's fair. Okay, so do we want to do a re-engagement roll, or do we just want to continue from here?
Does anyone remember the last engagement roll?
Dan said we were currently at risky.
We were at risky, and we went in. What was it? Deception, or yeah, we went into deception.
Yeah, because you guys posed as veterinarians, and you did pick up some additional heat from the guard not 100% believing your story, but not having enough information to question it.
Yeah. What it was is that he saw us after we had dumped the disguises and filed that away.
Yeah. So you guys did pick up some additional heat there.
I would be fine continuing to go in with risky unless we'd like to re-roll and try for controlled. But I'm fine with staying where we are at risky.
Me as well.
Likewise.
Okay. So I wanted to give a little bit more color to the group. I want to engage more people from outside of the center aisle. Let's jump over to the map real quick. Like, if we look over here, most of what's happened here in our campaign has been on Crowsfoot, kind of a middling area geographically, but also economically. And you guys are getting involved in the race scene, which has a little bit more of kind of the big fish going on. Give me 1 second. So what I wanted to do is I wanted the group of organized criminals that kind of pressed Bluefoot into service. I want them to be the Silver Nails. And I wanted the person that you were working with to be Tuhan, which is one of the chief lieutenants of that gang. So they are a mercenary gang. Think basically as if they had the crew sheet Bravos, and they're just contract fighters for other groups. They solve problems, clean out neighborhoods, take care of major when you need more professional scrapping to be done.
So my contact's name earlier was Ivan.
Oh yes. So the guy
We
that
can
originally
call him Two Hands if you want.
What was that? No, Ivan's good. I just couldn't remember what I named him because I couldn't find my notes. I lost the original notebook that I used for this game. But so yeah, we can just have Ivan be one of the other lieutenants of that group, because I didn't give the gang a formal faction name, I don't think. I just had it be that it was Ivan. But yeah, I think that's a good group for you to get tangled up in. The Silver Nails. And especially since they also own a stables themselves. Right? So they're in this game already. So from here, you're going to need to meet with Ivan. You're going to need to place your bet. And you're going to need to try to maybe get an angle on him. Or just try to extract yourself afterwards safely with your winnings. Does anybody have any questions before we decide how we're going to engage and pick a point of entry?
I think I'm good.
Okay. So what is going to be our point of entry for this time? Just going to kind of keep with the deception maybe, or going to try something different?
See, I'm not quite sure how deception would work on this. We're going to go in there, meet with a person, and place a bet. So it seems like social might be better, because the whole point is to go meet the guy. That's a major part of the plan.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, you guys can do social and just have the connection be that you're going to meet directly with Ivan and his bodyguards to get into this race, because this is a ticketed affair.
I mean,
Okay,
yeah, unless we have a plan to like it.
After you.
Yeah, unless we have a plan to, our plan is to disrupt it with one of these other methods, whether that's occult, Jonas, do you want to use some goat spirits? Do you want to commune with the
Jonas isn't part of this part of the score.
Oh, that's right. Butch, do you want to go intimidate some?
Well, I'm going to suggest, if we want to get in on our own, one of the spider items is, find cover identity. I could totally be someone who's got a ticket.
Okay.
And we could deceive our way in that way. That's actually, I used that exact same item to furnish you with the documents to totally be one of the best and most trusted veterinarians ever. I'm certain I could be somebody important enough, or perhaps make Butch somebody important enough, because part of his shtick is he'll dress the part.
Sure. Now, we don't want to overemphasize planning. So basically, the decision point that I'll give you is this. You can either go in with the social plan, and then Bluefoot is going to be meeting Ivan, and he can probably reasonably convince that he'll have one other person with him without it being suspicious that something's up. Or you can try to do the deception with the false invitation, and then that will require a new engagement roll. So that's the decision point that I'll give. But if you do the new engagement roll, I'm going to give you a lot more freedom as far as flashbacks and also inventory items for this second part of the caper.
I am going to suggest then we do the deception roll, both for the freedom and from a role-playing perspective. If we can make them think we can get in on our own, they might think we're bigger fish in the pond than we actually are, having to go up for them and say, hey, can you let us in so we can fulfill our half of the deal?
Oh, yeah, you guys are tier 1. You're getting there. What does the rest of the party think?
I'm good with that.
Birdie?
I'm going back and forth because looking over my notes from last week, there were 2 other goats that seemed to have stuff in their food, like, what we were trying to do. So no matter what, when Bluefoot meets with Ivan, I think that Butch should be with him to see if this guy's on the level, or if he's like just waiting to escape with the money because he already knows it's gonna break bad and Bluefoot's gonna lose his hands.
I would like to, something that may change your mind. I took notes. The 2 goats that were messed with were called Muttons of Fun and Pandemonium, and they had purgatives, think Ipecac, in there, so that they wouldn't eat and would do poorly because they would be hungry and lethargic, not that they would be hyped up as well. So those would be 2 goats meant to do poorly, whereas we're trying to make one do well.
All right, but
that might fire off all the alarm bells for... basically everyone.
Right, what if in the middle of it, Ivan turns around and is like, this guy told me he did it!
Mm-hmm.
Cook the books in whatever way. Or that other, what was the other bookie's name? Cassius Renaud?
Yep.
Like, I just think no matter how we go in, Butch should stick to Bluefoot and all of the contexts that are there. So we can tell if someone's lying.
All right. So what are we thinking?
I would like to not... my basic thing is I would like to not be going into this totally on my own.
Okay, so you're going to try to bluff your way in with some false documents. Somebody give me an engagement roll.
Butch, do you want to take this one?
I got it.
Yeah, let Aaron roll.
Yes.
So good.
Yeah.
One
Stank stuff out last week.
And you get an additional die because of the item that Abernathy is providing?
Yes,
so,
my fine cover identity.
2 dice. Submit.
Hey! So you're in a controlled position.
That's a good start.
Alright, so Bluefoot, you're kind of leading this group somewhat. Describe to me the scene as you approach the circus. The
hippodrome?
The hippodrome. Or the kidodrome. And what are we doing? What does this look like as you approach? And then I'll describe what the building itself looks like.
Well, I just for our purposes, I sent you all that video of Porcupine Racetrack, which is more or less my ideal version of this. But for the benefit of our viewers, I'll say that I see it as Doskvol getting as dressed up as Doskvol gets, given the absence of color or fun or joy in the world, of liveliness. This is a major social occasion, and so the cream of Doskvol society,
the sour cream of the crop,
are sipping their rancid liqueurs. I mean, all of the good fruits are gone, I assume. So,
yeah, I think it's like, what is it? They make like that weird like mushroom and like wormwood alcohol. It's like gnarly stuff.
Yeah, I'm seeing that, or maybe something with turnips.
I would assume that potatoes would still be growing. You can make whiskey and vodka from potatoes.
Yeah, it's just really expensive. Yeah, so the well-to-do people would be drinking probably minimally aged whiskey and vodka.
Yeah, but I was just thinking that, and I actually like that because you'd think that things like potatoes, highly calorie-dense foods, would be used for food because there's a lot of starvation and deprivation in this world, but I like the idea of the wealthy of Doskvol sort of just turning it into a luxury for their own consumption and sort of laughing at the poor who have no food.
Yeah.
That seems like a Doskvol kind of thing to make me. So that basically, I'm imagining crowds of wealthy Doskvolians, standing on the terraces of the hippodrome, of the goatodrome, and laughing at the poor who are passing on the street below them.
Yeah, and in the canal next to the stadium. So, I think a big part about this is, as you say, it really is like a major social event. So the everything is under the pale blue-white light of the ghost lanterns that light up the entire stadium. And so the fashions have shifted. It just, well, not recently, but the fashions are different. People are wearing a lot of dark crimsons, iridescent purples, colors that become more vibrant under pale light and less bright colors. Right? So like different shades of dark colors that absorb and reflect back the pale blue light with different shades and tones. All of these dyes very expensive, distilled down from various exotic plants from outside of the...
I know what these dyes are made from.
Yeah.
I'm actually...
under his shoes.
When I see Ivan, I'm going to assume that he tried to dress for the occasion.
Yeah, he's dressed in like a fine suit, but it's cut in a more outerwear, like outdoorsman, like gentleman outdoorsy kind of cut. He's not dressed like he's going to tea. He's dressed more like he would be for like a fox hunt. But it's still fine cut clothes. And he's in a deep purple shirt and like nice coal colored fine clothes.
I'm going to tell him, you know that your shirt was made and dyed with cat shit, right?
You're going to say that to him?
Why are you doing this?
Yeah, he's going to say, maybe. I didn't see the cat, but I did see the shirt. Or it'd probably be funny if he's like, what's a cat?
Okay. I'll go with that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so he's going to say, are we ready? Are you confident and ready to place your bet, Bluefoot?
Yeah, my man handles the money for me.
You're going to gesture to Butch? Or
Uh-huh.
Abernathy?
I'm going to gesture to Butch.
Okay. Let's pause this scene for 1 second. Daimi Abernathy, where are you while this is happening?
I want to be Abernathy. Just this once. Can I be on your arm and can we be like role playing upstanding citizens? I want to be hanging back and I want to see this motherfucker's face.
You've got to be kidding me.
But I don't want him.
You don't get a count for that because that was very low hanging fruit.
It was already used.
Yeah.
I guess it was a.
Did we do you goat girl?
No, we didn't yet.
I guess it was a mitigating circumstance.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, well, you mess with the goat, you get the horns, okay?
Ah, man.
Fucker's face. But I
All right.
Hi, man.
All right.
Let's just go on with it.
Yeah.
We had a.
Yep, we're good. Let's try to keep it on task from here.
Okay.
Sure, you can come
No.
in on my arm.
All right. So let's like be hanging back and like not associating ourselves with the two of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you know, Ivan and Bluefoot are exchanging pleasantries and, you know, making their way, you know, politely through the crowd, you know, sipping maybe a shared drink and sharing some smoke of some kind. You guys are also dressed finely, I imagine. Or as finely as Bluefoot could muster. Actually, no, he's already made up fine clothes for you guys in the past. So you're in your fine clothes that he's cut for you to be able to... So you don't embarrass him at social gatherings. Is that fair to say, Bluefoot?
I think that's fair to say, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my clothes look better.
Yeah, of course. I mean, come on.
But...
Yeah, absolutely. The loners aren't better than what you're wearing. I mean, come on. That's not how that works. But yeah, so go ahead.
Let's say it's a good thing I don't need a loaner.
Yeah, glitches are.
You already have fine clothes, right?
I got some fancy stuff.
So how old is Daimi and Abernathy in age?
Oh.
I figure I'm probably about 30, give or take.
Okay.
Yeah, Daimi's not even that old. She's got to be young to be trying to get out from under her family. I guess 25, 23?
Probably younger than that.
Probably
like
just
20,
I'm not
21,
going to
20.
be role-playing an 18-year-old. 30.
I didn't say
What?
18. This isn't.
I was going to
this
say like
isn't-
20, 21, 22 in that range.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Great. We'll split the difference 23.
yeah. So a well-to-do couple that seems to be wandering around saying hi to various people, dressed very
Clearly, Daimi is settling.
yeah, are going to saunter over to the two of you, and they're gonna say hello. They're both gonna shake your hands. It's a tall, incredibly slender man dressed in a immaculate all white suit, and his wife, also very tall and slender, though not quite as imposing as he is, in like a full deep crimson red dress. He's gonna say, "My name is Marcus, and this is my wife, Helga. I don't think I've ever seen you at the races before. You're a recent transplant to Doskvol from somewhere farther flung." And he's going to extend his hand to shake yours, Abernathy.
I'm going to take his hand firmly. I'm going to say, nice to meet you. My name is Regulus. And I'm going to look him right in the eyes. I'm going to remove whatever eyepiece I have, and I'm going to blink very clearly sideways. I would say, yes, I come from Tykeros. It is quite the distance.
Wow. Isn't that just so very peculiar? And what about you, my lovely dear? Where are you from?
Doskvol born and raised.
I'm sure. And are you... He's going to kind of gesture to the two of you. He's going to say, is this a night out on the town or a date? that my wife and I have interrupted.
I'm just gonna slip my hand into the crook of your elbow. Like, this is on you. This is your area of expertise, not mine.
I'm going to grin. I'm going to lay my hand on top of yours, and I'm going to be, your ways are mysterious to me, and so is what exactly this is. I am unfamiliar. We shall see. And then I'm going to give a weird sideways wink with just one eye.
Teach me a favor. The Doskvol thing you call love.
Yeah. So are you going to try to make, like, pleasant small talk, or what are you going to...
Yeah, I think we'll just kind of bluster a bit.
Okay, why don't you roll a sway for me?
Sure thing. Position
and you're in
risky?
A controlled position.
Oh, right. I'm in a controlled position. So position controlled. Effect standard. Bonus dice, none.
Okay. So I'm going to say that... So you got a 3 and a 4. Not bad. So I would say one of the biggest things that's going to happen here is that you get a complication. You start making small talk about your backstory, your time in Tykeros, because he's very interested. Marcus is very interested in more exotic lineages of humanity. He's very big into bloodlines and all of that, as you might imagine.
Of course.
And you start to let more things slip, and you start to kind of see this haze of idle small talk start to dissipate, and his eyes start to sharpen on you a little bit, almost like he is trying to remember something that he heard in the past about a Regulus from Tykeros. Because you have a backstory where you were basically exiled, right?
Yeah, well, not so much exiled, but yes.
The outs.
I was on the outs.
Okay. So basically what's going to happen here is you're going to get a complication, potentially. And that complication, you can try to resist it, but the complication is going to be that you end up getting out of the conversation, but he is going to make note of you and start looking into you in his free time, because he finds you was such a curious conversation that he had.
Do I want to try to resist that? You know what? I think I'm not, because being the fact that I know people, I can file away that he's thinking of me, and maybe try to find a way to turn that to our advantage later. So I'm not going to resist that complication.
Maybe he wants to give you a pie.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe not, though. So his name is Marcus Primus. And he is going to start looking for you. I put it on your sheet, Abernathy.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. But a clock works better.
All right. So you're not really aware probably too much of that. You can just probably notice Bluefoot and Butch that they're engaged in idle conversation. The other thing that I'll notice is I'm assuming that Abernathy is taking a good stock of the room. But as you're kind of like looking around, one thing that's kind of deeply off-putting is while both Marcus and Helga have like this very like cheery lightness to their voice, and like this very kind of gay, like nothing really matters kind of tone to everything that's going on, is once the conversation goes on, especially Helga, but also Marcus, their eyes are super hard, and they're scanning the room and scanning you, like they're trying to identify someone.
Okay.
And Helga doesn't really converse very much except for making idle small talk with Daimi. Daimi, do you want to try to engage her in any way above the small talk?
I'm going to ask her what she thinks of what we're drinking, using my background as a brewer, but I'm going to sound dumb.
On purpose?
Yes.
So roll consort?
That makes sense.
Yeah, consort seems right.
From a controlled position, this is so strange.
Yeah, sometimes, just very sometimes, you all roll well. Oh man.
Wow.
So you do it. So tell me what happens. What are you trying to ascertain? Tell me how the conversation goes.
I'm trying to. I want to find out what social stratum they're from, because as a brewer, I would have a greater appreciation for what is possible with alcohol than my station. So I'm guessing I could like move between strata in that knowledge. I want to see like how educated she is, how high ranking she is, what she knows, what she's used to, mostly what she's used to drinking, and then I want to see if she is as ignorant as he is. Like I want to see if they're united friends or if she's arm candy.
She's gonna say, "Well, you know, I don't try to drink too frequently, you know."
Of course not.
So I like to maintain a good demeanor socially, but she kind of holds the glass of vodka up to the light. She's like, "This is okay, but it's probably cost our hosts more than it's worth." And she holds it up, and you can just see ever so slightly there's a haze to it. She's like, "It's strong flavored and bold,
But it's not very smooth, is it?
but it's not very refined." Yeah, so what you basically ascertain from this conversation is that her and Marcus are probably really, really wealthy. Like, exceptionally wealthy and well-versed. But it's very interesting because both of them try to ask you more questions than they reveal about themselves. They're very generic with their responses, but very biting and focused with their questions.
Both of them, though.
Both of them. Yeah. She's just quieter than he is. The other thing that you notice is, you know, as you're talking and she's kind of going over with you what's inside of the glass, she reaches out to you and touches your arm, and she feels that you've got like the sinewed muscle underneath your blouse or your... I'm assuming you probably wouldn't be wearing a dress. You'd probably be wearing like a blouse. Or would you? I don't know.
I can be... I said I want my dress to be yellow so that it reflects in the blue light. It's a split skirt, though.
Okay. Yeah, she's gonna touch your arm and feel that you have like strong sinew under your blouse, and she's gonna be like, "Ooh, wow, what kind of hobbies you must have to be so fit."
As I said, Doskvol born and bred. We work our way up when we can.
Just so. All right, Bluefoot, Butch, what are you guys doing?
I think we're trying to get a read on Ivan as we go over to the betting window.
Okay.
Well, Butch would have introduced himself as Victor, not Butch.
Yeah. So he's gonna say he's a little sloppy. Like he's had a couple of drinks this morning, but he seems to be in pretty good spirits.
That's good.
So, one of the biggest things as you guys get closer to the betting booth is that there is an argument happening between a couple of jockeys and the commissioner. The commissioner, who is trying, Visala Patya, who is trying to disqualify two of the jockeys and their steeds from the race for being unfit to race. And these two jockeys are arguing very strongly that they believe that the entire race should be thrown out because their goats have been tampered with.
Do we want to intercede on that, or do we want to let it go there, Bluefoot?
Well, it seems to me that we didn't mess with those goats. Ivan can't. On the other hand, he's like
Can we get
murderer, so he definitely can do whatever he wants. He can definitely.
Can we get a read on what Ivan thinks is going on with that situation? Does he seem concerned?
As he approaches, he's much too loudly for comfort gonna reach, kind of bend down and elbow Bluefoot, and he's gonna say, "That wasn't you, mate, right?"
Not me.
He's like, "Well, if the race gets thrown out, we're all fucked. And you're out of a couple pair of hands."
I only have the one.
Yeah. He's not in the best shape. There's a little slur on the end of his words.
So I think we can tell what he intends to do there. Let's see. How can we get the jockeys to...
Is the guy there? Is the guy that was guarding the door there?
No, he was night shift. He's asleep.
Damn. I was gonna say Bluefoot could always go in as the vet again.
Yeah, but I think that's
some next level Ocean's 11 shit.
So what is this Visalia exactly saying?
So Visalia is saying that two goats being sick is not a reason to call off a race, and they should have had this conversation in private, and it's not his concern if their goats aren't fit to race because they haven't been poisoned, they're just sick.
All right, Victor's going to excuse himself from Bluefoot and Ivan for a minute and walk over and put his hand on the commissioner's hand. He's going to kind of flash something real quick and say, comrades, please take this discussion elsewhere. You're scaring the betters.
And what are you flashing at him?
I'm using one of my items. It's a document that kind of implies that I'm more from the like high up on the gambling board, and that I kind of oversee the money, and that I want them to go elsewhere. That way, I can get paid.
Okay, so roll it.
All right, sway, controlled. Five.
Yeah, that'll do it. Hang on, I gotta stop Balder. Balder is fighting something.
Oh.
Oh no!
He's trying to instigate trouble.
No.
Everyone's got a case of the bag hats.
Just because they're mean, hateful creatures, I'm telling you.
Hateful creatures. Mine tried to feed me. We talked about this.
No, yours tried to show you that you're inept.
No, she brought me a whole lizard.
You should stop being so derogatory towards them.
You've got to be kidding me.
Oh my god.
Oh my goat.
Yeah, I can probably tell Dan. I'm just crank it up to 10.
Well,
No, it's got to go up to 11.
I suppose that's his prerogative.
I'm sure there's something else in there.
I think I'm having way too much fun.
You're definitely outdoing. Like every time I'm like, damn, I should have thought of that. Damn, I should have thought of that. The worst part is like, Emrys got me earlier today in the Discord where he was like, because I don't know if this has come out. Hi everybody, I am a non-binary individual, and earlier in the Discord he was like, how do you tell that?
How does a non-binary prospector declare success?
Yeah, and there's gold in them there hills. And the worst part is, I fucking heard that before, and I was like, oh god.
From Dan!
What did it tell me?
Dan told us that joke.
I'm back.
I didn't remember it in the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta up your pun count there, boss.
Okay.
We're at 11, I think.
This one goes up to 11.
You see,
Okay.
Dan wasn't
You
there to
see
hear
what
the worst
happens
of
when
them.
you leave us unattended?
Yeah, well, my cat was trying to get into a fight with a centipede, so...
He didn't hear any of them, so I guess he goat off scot-free.
You really just need a plug-in so you just hit a button and upped it.
Yeah, we all.
Alright.
Because we're not near done with these.
Yep. Alright, so you got a 5.
Yes.
So I'm going to say that this is going to have the complication that it's going to move you into a risky situation because it's going to kind of compromise you and Bluefoot's ability to act.
Okay.
Because you're going to make yourself very noticeable in this very public scene.
I'm already very well dressed, so I'm already very noticeable.
Everyone is well dressed here. I mean, but on the other hand, you probably can't really place a bet for us if you're already posing as the gaming commissioner.
I'm just posing for this guy.
Yeah, hopefully he goes and sits in the little box somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Worst case, I hand you the money and you place the bet. I mean,
Yeah.
all you said was, I control the money. That's...
Alright, so he's going to say, 100% you're right. Don't you think that they should just take their horses out of the race if they're not ready to compete?
What they do with their goats is up to them. But please, go elsewhere.
Okay, so they're going to take the fight elsewhere, and on the big chalkboard where all the bets are placed, for those 2 goats, the odds like change to like 600 to 1.
That's interesting.
Meaning it's not very likely that they will win.
Right, but if they do, that's a big payout.
Yeah.
They'd be
So-
one-trick ponies.
So the Sundance Kid is not the favorite, but certainly in the top half of the pack. So it's a 16 to 1 odds when you consider how staunch the competition is. He's not expected to break the top 5, but he's certainly expected to have a good day.
Okay.
So, what are we doing from here? There's a scene of, all these people queuing up pretty patiently in line, people making kind of boisterous claims and boasts, and everybody's placing bets with everything is straight gold. There's no letters of promise or banknotes allowed here. All the bets are done in cash, and everyone's getting a thick, like, paper shit that's getting punched out with how their money is placed.
Have we decided as a group how much money we're putting on this endeavor? As we have to make a bet?
I was about to ask, Ab, should we be betting on like something? Should we be placing our own separate bet since we are here as a separate entity?
Any bet that you would make that is separate from whatever the gang does would have to be out of your personal coin.
Oh, I have no personal coin.
Yeah, I think we agreed when we first set up the Goat Caper to take one gang coin out of our operating budget to devote to this. Am I remembering that correctly?
I believe so, yeah.
I do not remember this, but I don't remember most things, and I have no issue with it.
But I don't remember most things.
The reason I remember it is because we couldn't figure out how to get it just one out of the vault.
Well, it's not that. It's that we couldn't take it out of our store without taking it out of the vault first.
Right, because the sheets were...
Okay.
Right, so it's costing us 2 instead of just the one we wanted to pull out of the gang.
Oh, excuse me.
Wait, really? I thought we could pull the actual cash out before we had to mess with the stash.
In all honesty, we should be able to in meat space, but in cyberspace, what Roll20 has set up for us will not allow us to do as we please. Because the computer can only do exactly what you told it to do, and nobody told it, hey, there's another possibility.
Yeah, you're talking about the issue with the coin?
Yeah.
Well, we can always track coin differently. Because now we're also on the 4 active coin that the crew has. So, if you guys wanted to put up a coin, you could.
Well, no, we took the 2 out of the vault.
For the bet already?
For the bet, yes.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so, are you going to try to do anything tricksy, Bluefoot, or are you going to place the bet?
Can I place the bet and then later apply a flashback to make it a tricksy thing?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to place the bet normally for now.
Oh, okay. And Ivan is kind of going to put his arm around your shoulder, and you're going to move up to the front of the line together, and he's going to say, my friend and I, we'd like to place a bet together. And you basically put your mark on the top of the little card, right? Mm-hmm. And they have basically like a punch that is the number of basically like gold ingots you're putting down, which, coin is an abstraction in this system. And then what horse you're putting it on, and if there's room... Goat, you're putting it on, and room for you to make multiple bets. Because, this is horse racing. You can place multiple
Goat
bets
racing.
You've got to stop forgetting that.
Yeah, goat racing. Goat racing. You can place a bet on multiple goats. They'll let you waste as much of your money as you want if you've ever actually been to any racing establishment.
We place our gold like on a chart of the different goats.
Yeah, you basically are laying out. They have like a little lacquered counter where you take the money and you put it on the board on the different goats that you want to bet on. And then after you look at them and you're like, I'm done, they punch the card, take the money, and hand it back to you. And the card reflects the bets that you made.
Okay, so nothing is left on the board. after.
No, they take it, they file it away with the other part of the slip, basically. You know, this is all up and up. This is rich people and their money.
Mhm.
I mean, if we want to get detailed, I mean, the board's basically going to be race number and slot position. It's not going to have any names on it, so you're expected to know where it goes.
Yeah. Similar to a lot of other things involving betting, where you're just kind of expected to understand the way a spread and different things work from when you walk up. So, jumping back to Daimi and Abernathy for a second, when you made your comment on, you know, having some of us have to work our way up, as Marcus gets more and more intense with Abernathy, Helga gets a little bit more hesitant with her conversation, kind of glancing over him to him periodically as he starts to really like deep dive with Abernathy's background. And she's going to say, and we women, we always have to work, no matter the context. Isn't that right? And she's going to say, dear, we have so many other people to meet and greet today. Why don't we let this fine young couple enjoy the race, and we'll catch up with them another time. You will be coming to more of these gatherings in the future, I would imagine. I'd hate for this to be the last time that we'd see you.
Oh, Dan, I'm not good at words.
Absolutely, darling. We'd love to see you again.
No, because I don't want her to be looking at... Okay. I noticed the husband's laser focus again. So I don't want to immediately shut her down so that it like fans the flames. I want to say something like intimating that we're not like a solidified couple yet. Just be like, you know, we'll see where time takes us.
Okay. And she's gonna say, I
don't want it. I'm not an important. I want to imply that I am not quite yet an important person in Abernathy's life. Because I don't want attention to me.
Helga's gonna look at Abernathy and say, well, you've certainly got a strong woman on your hands in more ways than one. And a strong woman is always valued. And she very purposefully makes eye contact with you when she says that. When she says a strong woman is always valued. And then...
Him.
You.
Oh. Hey! It's not Jonas!
You know, I'll take my hat off. I'll put it on like a respectful gesture. So the only thing more mysterious than my land is the heart of one worth keeping. And then I'm going to, like, I don't know, do something sweet.
Okay.
That was fucking smooth.
And they're going to mosey on. Marcus and Helga Primus. Don't worry, you'll see them again.
I have no doubt.
All right. Helga's into it. You don't know what she's into.
Well, I know she's like butches.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got no idea.
All right, let's continue on with our lives. I'm going to have to discontinue the pun count if we continue purposefully breaking the
narrative.
The narrative.
I'm sorry, I can't help.
Can I get one in?
No. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Daimi feels like a stud.
That's horses. That's not goats.
Shut the fuck up. It's anything. The horses, dogs, goats.
Snakes.
I feel hot to trot.
Snakes. Snake racing. That'd be exciting. But anyway. All right, so the bet is placed. So Bluefoot, what is the flashback part of the plan that you wanted to do? Because you want to try to ultimately...
Not yet.
So what do you guys want to do from here? Are you guys going to meet up and kind of fake socialize? What are we doing?
Yeah, let's fake socialize and watch the fucking race. Like...
I'm just trying to figure out if there's any other way we can position ourselves to intervene if it must be so.
Okay, so let's socialize near the door so we can make a hasty retreat if our guy doesn't win.
Or make sure to do something to make sure that he does.
That I can't help you with, but Dan, can I roll?
You can roll whatever you want. Tell me what you do.
I guess it would be hunt. I want to see if there are any red sashes here, and I want to see if there are any of the shit. It's in the other notebook. The Inquisitor guys, that one guy that we killed, that we went to the
Spirit Wardens.
Yeah. Are there any Spirit Wardens here, or are there any red sashes here?
So, why don't you do me a favor and do a hunt for that? You're in a risky position. And I'm going to say that it's going to be a limited effect because people are not dressed in their uniforms and gang colors. It would be harder for you to recognize people. The symbols would be more subtle. But you can go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
Hey, you still do it. So, what are you looking for? You find what you're looking for. Oh, I lost you.
Yep. Oh, I heard something. Are you there?
We're here.
I can hear
Okay.
you.
You just stopped moving.
I want to see who's rubbing elbows with whom. Like, are any of our older enemies here, or do I recognize anyone from our side of the river?
So, this is an interesting education point because I don't know the answer to this. You tell me the answer that you're looking for. Who do you want to see interacting with one another?
Can our buddy Basho Baz be here?
That's the guy from the Lamp Blacks, right?
Yeah, that's the guy whose territory we took.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
He's here. Who is he talking to?
Well, he wants us to take out the red sashes. Do we have a name on who replaced Regicide Lady from the Crows?
She's not a member of the Red Sashes. Oh, but yeah.
I know that. Like, I'm saying he wouldn't be here with someone from the Red Sashes.
Yeah, we'll say another.
I think
Go ahead.
I think the name of who she's thinking of might be Lissa from the Crows.
That is who I'm thinking of, but we took her out, remember?
You arranged for her to get arrested.
So I think the second in command is Belle.
Yeah. Yeah, so it would be Belle who would be in command of the Crows now.
Is that interesting to my other teammates that we try to take out the people that we already know, or should we be looking for new targets?
Well, if we're doing this based on what we've talked about in the Discord, I think it might actually be good to have me consort with them. Because one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to find out, like, we have our friends or people who we want to try to be friends with. We wanted to find out who disliked them so that we could, ingratiate ourselves with them while running jobs against people who could be our enemies by being their friends.
Awesome. Well, I rolled my 6 finding them. How about you go roll a 6 talking to them?
No sweat.
Okay, so this is a perfect opportunity for a flashback, potentially. Do you want to have flashback to gather some information or set something up?
I don't know what we would have set up.
The world is your oyster.
I'm really annoyed that the picture of me is frozen in such a way that it looks like I'm putting a fucking cigar in my mouth.
Okay, it just looks like you're about to hit like a vape pen.
I quit smoking, damn it.
Yes, I know. I'm very proud of you.
That's all I wanted.
It's okay. I'll give you your head pets.
Like, I would love to, but unfortunately, I'm not sure what kind of flashback I would have done, not knowing that they would be here.
No, like flashback.
So here's the thing. The flashback, remember, the only rule with flashbacks is that they can't change something that's already happened, right?
Okay.
But you can be like, oh, they're here because she made that roll. Now I'm going to flashback and say that we knew that they were coming and I prepped something for this situation. But we'll come back to you so you guys have a minute to think, okay? And then Bluefoot and Butch. So Ivan is kind of keeping you close. He's not really being menacing. He's being pretty congenial. And he's just gotten you guys seats in a box seat, but nobody's sitting down yet because with the little ruckus with the jockeys, the race is running a few minutes behind schedule. But people are starting to fill into the stands with their lovely drinks. One thing that you'll notice that's kind of interesting about Doskvol fashion is hats have basically fallen out of fashion except as outerwear because there's no real reason to wear a hat outside basically ever unless it's raining. So most of the people are just wearing various types of like either veils or just like really fancy collars. There's not really a lot of like the racing hats that you would think of in the human world as being like a part of racing culture.
Okay.
I'm just adding that little bit there. No, women wouldn't wear sun hats
in
when
the dark.
There's no sun.
There's no mint. There's no juleps.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
All
no
right.
horses.
So have you given any thought to what you wanted to do or when you're going to spring that?
No, I think I'm going to hold that in reserve. I will let you know
when you're ready to put it into
when I
motion.
see an opportunity to spring.
Okay. So what about you, Butch? Do you have anything that you want to do?
I have something I want to do, but again, it's something I think I need to save as a last-ditch effort.
And I'll tell
So
you,
that's the thing.
For the race.
Okay,
Like,
so you're waiting for the race to actually be going.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's what I'm basically waiting in reserve for, unless something dramatic changes.
Okay, so let's double back to Daimi and Abernathy.
Alrighty. Well, Daimi has had a suggestion as she came up with the hunt roll. It says, what if we find out exactly who shot Jonas and what exactly is coming out of the Red Sash camp? We can remind Boz that we took the heat for the one job and made sure it didn't come back on the Lant Blacks. So, I was thinking about how to work that into a flashback, because that's a good idea of what to get out. Well, we have a bunch of information brokers and whatnot, so why don't I have done a flashback? I'm going to use an item of documents. I'm going to flash back to have consulted with, on my shrewd friends list, Salia, an information broker, about exactly how much the Red Sash's territory seems to have shrunk when they lost a tier as some sort of a information they might be interested in because they're still at war with each other. And then I can use that as maybe as a bonus die or something on the roll to find out what Daimi has suggested.
So tell me what the outcome you're looking for is and how you would achieve it in the flashback, and we'll roll it.
Okay. What I want to get is I want to get a bargaining chip, some sort of useful information that will make them more inclined to give me something to advance our agenda.
So you want something that the Lamp Blacks would find useful?
Yes.
Okay, so do a flashback.
Okay.
to you going through your contacts among the crows and in Crowsfoot, and roll a consort.
Okay. Position risky.
Yeah.
Effect standard. No bonus dice. A 5 and a 1.
Okay. So you find out that the Red Sashes are really in bad shape as far as where they are power-wise, because most of the gangs that exist in Doskvol and operate do so by paying off the Bluecoats and the inspectors to keep them off their backs.
Right.
So Red Sashes have lost enough territory that with their fine tastes and with the general mismanagement of being run by a group of nobles playing a gangster, that they haven't been able to make their payments. So there's several high-profile members of the Red Sashes that you know are going to be snatched up with arrest warrants, precisely because the Bluecoats know that their families will pay their bail, their very much so increased bail, basically as a way of recouping their losses on the protection money that the gang should have been paying. So you have the ability to potentially give that information to the Lampblacks so that they can sell that information to the Red Sashes or sit on it to basically facilitate the gang's demise.
Alrighty. I think that would be a good bargaining chip.
Okay. So you're going to approach Boz?
Yes.
Okay. And he's going to say, "Oh, Abernathy, my friend, I didn't expect to see you in such a high society place like this. You know, you guys are more comfortable in old towers, you know, and, you know, old broken down buildings, I thought. But look at you all coming up in the world. And Dimey, don't you look so lovely in that dress? It's come such a long way in just a few months. Now, I don't have to be worried now. Do I?
Of course not. Actually, we worked so well before in the past, I was thinking there might be some more to be gained by cooperating. After all, we have a mutual enemy, and I think you'd like to see them go down, and we'd like to make some more friends. I think we exchange wants, and everybody is satisfied.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
Well, I have here some very interesting information on some Red Sashes that they don't seem able to make all the payments for their own protection, and it just seems there might be a chance of some Bluecoats snatching them up to get bail money from their families in exchange. And I can think of all sorts of good uses you guys could put that to. But, well, as I said, I actually do like it here in the high society, and I like having you guys as friends. So I want to give this to you, but I would like to know what you guys can offer us. Can you help us make some more friends?
Certainly, I think that it's high time that that our friends in Red paid their reparations to the rest of the community of businessmen and women like us, and made up for all the trouble that they've caused. So I think if you can help me make that happen, I think it's fair to say that we could share some of that with our newly found community leaders, the Dandies. How does that sound?
That sounds just fine to me.
All right. So what he's going to do is he'll take the list from you, and he is going to sell the warrants to the Red Sashes. And a couple things are going to happen as a side effect of this because of the 5 that you rolled.
Okay.
So 1, the gang will get 1 coin.
Nice.
Awesome.
2,
Recouped our losses.
Love coin.
2, the gang will get +1 heat.
Shit.
Alrighty. What else is going to happen?
3, you will immediately move to +4 faction standing with the Lamp Blacks and to war with the Red Sashes.
Well, we were there already.
Pretty close.
I'm wondering if it's possible to resist either of those negative repercussions with stress. Maybe
You can pick 1 to roll against.
so. I can always go to jail quite happily to take more heat once we take a bunch more, because I have plenty of bonuses specifically to doing that. So I think I would like to resist the moving to war part.
I absolutely support that because I still need to. I absolutely cannot be down to 1 downtime activity.
So that is a social standing. So for those of our watchers paying attention, I believe it's in the mid-30s. Resistance roll for that would be my resolve, correct, Dan?
Correct.
So I'm going to roll 2 dice, or my resolve, which is 2 dice. I'm going to take 6 stress minus the highest die. So I rolled a 3 and a 2. So I take 6 minus 3. I'm taking 3 stress, but we are not at war with the Red Sashes as a result of this.
So basically what's going to happen is when the rumors start coming out about where the warrants came from, you're going to make sure that you're in enough bars in Crowsfoot being like, I wish I had capitalized on that. Whoever sold them those warrants probably made a ton of money. Right, where you're just like actively out and it's enough that it doesn't push the Red Sashes over into war.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, so that's that. So I think from here we're going to have everybody get underway unless Daimi, I keep kind of forgetting that you're here because your picture's frozen. Is there anything that you want to do, look around, get a lay of the land before we settle in for the race?
No, I already did my extra thing. I found the people.
Right.
I just made Emrys take care of that.
Yeah, you're like, go be a talker person.
Right.
And I did.
Yeah, you did those things.
I'm here to be muscle and be attractive to pretty ladies.
Apparently.
And I'm here to be smooth in all sorts of ways.
Yes. I can't remember. Is your character canonically bald? Was that a bald joke?
The smoothness.
Considering when we started, I'm not sure if my hair was growing back, so it could be. But no, I wasn't thinking my character was bald.
Me and Aaron have what I like to call the 2. The 2 on the buzzer, or the 2 or the 3 maybe.
I do a 2 and a 4.
Yeah.
Though that is very quickly going to become a bald.
Yeah, it's going.
Hey,
It's okay. I had it.
Mine's not great either.
For when I didn't use it at all. But anyway.
I'll keep the beard, though.
I can't grow one. I'm like an elf that's also balding because I can't grow a beard. It's a very sad state. But anyway, so we settle in for the race, and you all have seats in the private box with Ivan and his friends. And there's a couple of kind of warm-up races that, people are still pretty excited about, but it's not the main event, And those pass pretty uneventfully, a few people wringing their hands or jumping up excitedly with their tickets and then kind of catching themselves and returning to a more demure demeanor. But then the big event comes, and the gunshot rings out, and the goats exit the what are those gates called? There's a specific name for it. Whatever.
Let's call them the starting gates.
Yeah, the starting gates open up. There's like basically like a steam pressure blows them open all at the same time, and then the leftover steam shoots out as kind of like a starting whistle, and the goats with their very light riders. Now these are not standard goats like what we would imagine. These have been bred to be much larger over the centuries as they've replaced horses and oxen as beasts of burden. So the race is underway, and almost immediately Sundance Kid comes out with a commanding lead, but is quickly caught by the other big contenders. From what you described, the big thing that what your additive is going to do is make it so that the goat doesn't get winded or as tired as quickly as it normally would. So you're going to start to more so see the effects as you get to like the second lap, and all of the horses would normally drop pace, and it's just going to continue on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sprinting the 5K.
Right. So that's going to continue. Go ahead.
I like that description, Emrys.
Yeah. So we end the first lap with the race unfolding pretty much as the odds makers anticipated. There's the 5 top contenders, purebreds from fine stables, jockeying and kind of switching places, very neck and neck with the Sundance Kid behind by maybe a couple of lengths. But then what's going to happen is as we go into the second and third laps, and that neck and neck race continues, but as they gradually slow as they get winded, the Sundance Kid is going to overtake them and surpass them and start putting lengths in between itself and the other goats, and it's going to start to become somewhat notable as people kind of rise from their seats, trying to keep an eye on the track as this unexpected event unfolds. So we're going to get into the final leg of the race with the Sundance Kid having a commanding 2 or 3 length lead on the other goats as they pull into the final lap and close in on the finish line. So,
okay. If everything's going to plan, I don't have any sort of any intervention there.
Okay, so Sundance Kid will finish in first, commandingly, causing a lot of people to rip up their tickets and a lot of people to look very, very upset. Ivan drunkenly jumps up, large, almost 7 foot tall man that he is, and starts stamping around in the stands, causing the area around him to shake ever so slightly as he jumps up and down, excited with the winnings, and he slaps you very hardly on the back, and he's like, "Well, Bluefoot, that was a great bet that you talked me into," and he gives you a big wink. He's just gonna say, you've really helped me and mine a great deal today. You're a good man.
Likewise, Ivan. Likewise.
All right. So there's going to be lining up for a couple more races after the main event. So I don't know where you want to take it from here. Whether you want to sit your drink calmly and wait to pick up your bet later and hang out with Ivan, or whether you're going to try to excuse yourself now.
I think let's get out while we're ahead. My main thing was to retain
Get your hands back.
Hands.
Yeah.
We were on the horns of a dilemma. But I think we achieved our purposes, and now we should hoof it.
Yeah. All right. So you guys excuse yourself. Do me a favor and just roll a sway check. One of you.
I would probably be best for that, but then again, it might be better for Butch or Bluefoot to do it since you're the ones with the ticket.
If Bluefoot does it, I'll give him one additional die. Because
Okay.
Ivan's very happy with him.
I will. This a consort or a?
A sway.
All right. I don't have any sway or resolve die, so
I would.
You're gonna get one.
I'm
Okay.
with him. Do you want me to take it?
yeah, you're probably even getting the one from Ivan's happiness. I think that we're probably in a better position if you take it.
So I'm at 2.
I would like to. Twice per score, I can use my mastermind ability to assist you, or foresight to assist you without paying stress. So I'm going to have, in the past, looked up a number of things Ivan likes, perhaps as gifts or just people he knows to talk to or something. Just give that list to you to help talk to him after you win.
Does he happen to like females of the slightly slutty variety?
There's none of those here. Well, not any that are gonna hang out with like a street enforcer.
Maybe.
But anyway, so you're just trying to extricate yourself from the room, right?
We're trying to get our money and go. Yes.
Yeah. So roll a sway.
Am I using your +1 Abernathy?
I think you can take it as a die or as a greater effect if you'd like.
We're in risky position.
Yep.
Standard effects. I'll take 1 bonus die.
And
Good thing.
He's gonna say, fine. You go and make sure that if you're ever gonna do what you did before again, you let your old friend Ivan know. And don't be so morose, Bluefoot. Look at him. He runs with more bodyguards than I do. It's almost like he was afraid that I was gonna do something to him.
And that is exactly, in fact, how I laugh at that in response to that.
Yeah. And so what he's going to do... So there is going to be a complication here. And the complication is going to be that you're going to actually have a worse reputation with the the silver nails, because he thinks that he's got you under his thumb now and that he can lean on you, so his faction is going to be more aggressive towards you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To be clear, Bluefoot got his things off of his wrist, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But he's just like, he's like, oh, you did this for me once, so now you work for me, basically.
That's okay.
I want to be like, resist that, but you know me, I'm all about the faction rep and stress junkie, so I just want to be like, resist it.
It's Bluefoot's choice.
Yeah. I think I'm the kind of guy who's probably just going to be like, okay.
Yeah, because he's going to say, next time you have a lead on a good bet, you let me know. I might check in with you. And it kind of gives you a wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I'm surprisingly okay with loaning Bluefoot out to other gangs if it means that I get to have just as good of a night as I did tonight.
Did you enjoy being doted upon, dearest?
Wait,
you can't see me, but I'm like taking my entire hand and putting it over the camera. Just imagine that's your face.
Are we really going to refer to it as loaning me out? I'm not sure.
I mean, I could say studying you out, but Dan already said I couldn't use that one for the pun counter.
Yeah. It's like a library loan.
Oh.
So that's the Goat Caper. You guys successfully extradite yourself. I'm gonna say that because of the rather
Well, give us a hand.
yeah because of the
You got to keep both of yours.
because of the nuanced way that you handled it, I would say that that's gonna be 3 coin.
Woohoo! Plus,
Who
wait.
still has 2 thumbs?
This guy.
Now, the other thing is I've been keeping track of it, and based on the level of groups that you're interacting with, this is going to be a 3 heat job.
Oof.
Plus the 1 additional heat that you got previously.
Shit.
So,
I hate to be a jerk. Wouldn't that be 2 heat? Because we got a heat because I didn't resist it, and we got a heat on our during our escape after being vets. So if I'm going,
plus the actual heat for the job itself.
so that'd be 5, not 4. I mean, if I'm going to be a stickler about things that benefit us, I'd better be a stickler all around, or I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So that's a thing
So-
that happened.
So did we not get any coin from our bet, or did that all go to Ivan?
Well, remember, he wanted the bet primarily as insurance. So coin is an abstraction, and it's kind of exponential. Whereas, like, 1 coin is like a small estate. Getting 3 coin at once is like getting like a small fortune, and I don't mean like a couple of G's, like literally a small fortune.
Yeah, but at 16-1, that's a lot of coin.
Yeah, but it's not. It's an abstraction.
I know.
I mean,
Well, don't forget, we also gained a coin from the rubbing elbows with our buddies.
Oh yeah.
True.
so it's more like
actually,
we
so
netted
you know what?
3.
You know what? I'm merciful. So I'm gonna put 4 coins into the vault, and each of you get 1 coin.
Sweet.
Nice.
Oh, yay.
Give you guys a
Hooray.
little bit more positive. So let's talk about downtime activities very quickly before we move on to wrapping things up for the next session. So let's start with, well, actually, we'll do Butch last because Butch might not be, we're going to not be doing Butch, we're going to be doing your character sheet, Jonas.
Yes.
All right, so let's start with Daimi.
Give me the sheet back. I have to engage my vice or take stress. Oh no, I don't, because I have an extra stress block. So instead, I'm going to roll.
Do you have trauma? If you have trauma, you have to indulge your vice.
No, I don't.
If you don't, you take stress equal to the number of traumas you have. So you have 1 trauma, so you can forego your vice during this set of activities for 1 stress.
Yes, and I didn't take any stress from this job, so I may as well just do that because I want to advance the clock that is me switching my vice.
Okay. Roll it.
I don't remember how. Is it roll fortune?
Yeah.
How many dice?
There's
an indulge vice button.
No, she's not doing her vice. You're going to use both
right.
of your downtime activities?
Let's see how the first one goes.
Okay. So roll 1 die.
Woohoo!
Okay. So that's 1 tick. Alright. If you do it again, you can get 1 more.
Yeah, I might as well.
Okay, so what is your new vice?
Drinking.
Okay.
Get
All
rid
right.
of-
That's Dimey, Bluefoot.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry.
It's okay.
So, I'm going to start developing a new design.
So you're going to start a new long-term project.
Yeah.
Sounds good. What's the outcome that you're looking for?
I want to make a grapple gun.
Perfect. Go ahead and add that to your sheet. So the pieces of this technology is something that you probably have seen similar things. You're not so much reinventing the wheel here as you're trying to make your own prototype for something that already exists. So I'd say it's a 4-tick clock. Oh, also, after this, I have to double back on Dimey's experience because we forgot to do it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But go ahead and roll Bluefoot on your long-term project. We're going to say that that's definitely a tinker.
Okay. Let me.
Okay, so that's 1 tick.
Okay. But fortunately, I have my analyst ability. Oh, which lets me add 2 ticks to any long-term project.
Nice. So that's 3 out of 4.
Wait a sec. Why did he only get 1 tick? He rolled a 4. I thought 4 was 2 ticks on a long-term project, and then his ability would make it all 4.
Because I'm in charge.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm cool with that. And then I think that
Do you have any stress?
I'm at 5 stress right now. I mean, that doesn't seem so bad, but
Yeah.
well, I mean, I can indulge vice.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
indulge my vice.
so now you need to roll your lowest attribute that you actually have dots in.
I mean, resolve. I only have. Well, I don't have any dots in. I have one dot in consort.
Yep, so roll that. Roll resolve. Hey! Exactly.
Wow.
So you're good to go. You remove all 5 stress. Let's talk about your experience.
Okay.
What do you
So
think you qualified for?
Well, I made a desperate roll during the first half of the caper,
Okay.
and
So
I
go
think
ahead
that
and
was
mark that.
a desperate roll in prowess. But desperate rolls just go into the playbook advancement, right?
No, they go into the advancement for, in this case, it would be prowess.
So that means you get a level up there. So
Yay.
that means you get to add a dot, right? Or is it 2 dots? It's
1.
1. Yep. So you get to add 1 dot of your choice and your experience resets.
Eh. I'm going to add it to prowl.
Sounds good. All right, so let's look at your other stuff. Do Did you address a challenge with technical skill or mayhem? Yes, you did. Did you express your beliefs, drives, or heritage or background? Yes, you did, with all of your background in dyes and chemicals and also high society, so I'd give you another one for that. I would say that you did not struggle with issues from your vice or traumas during this session.
No, I kind of resolved them.
Yeah, so 2 playbook experience. Perfect. All right, Daimi, let's double back on you.
All right. Well, last week I also rolled from a desperate position, but I took care of that as soon as it happened. I don't even remember which one it was under. I addressed 2 situations with I addressed a threat with violence, and I addressed something else with tracking that I don't remember what it was.
Okay, so that's 2 playbook experience.
That's from last week, and then this week I would argue that I expressed my background.
Okay.
As her.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Abernathy.
Alrighty, so I was wondering if I could please look at the crew sheet, because if I pull up Daimi's, it's just showing her character sheet, because I want to see if there's any long...
The thing that says character mode, click that, and it'll change it to the...
Oh, I thought it was only on her sheet. It does it for all of us?
No, on her sheet, you have to click character mode.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to mess with her sheet without asking her first. So I see we have a long-term clock called Warden Retribution that is almost full. So I think I want to work on lowering that clock as one of my long-term activities.
How are you going to accomplish that goal?
Well, they're attempting to find us, so the best way would probably be to go to our contacts or information brokers or whatnot and spread that we're, either try to talk them into not giving out our position as much, or going the complete other way, tell them we've got our thumbs in all sorts of pies that we're not actually associated with.
Okay. So, I'd say that's a sway.
Okay. Let me go ahead and roll the sway. Risky, standard, no bonus dice. And a 1 and a 3, so that would be 1, most likely.
Yeah, so you'll pull back 1 tick off of that clock.
And for the other one, I have 8 out of 9 stress, so I definitely need to indulge my vice.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that real quick. 4. That is a respectable amount of stress removed. No, you silly thing. I said 4, not 3.
All right. So now we're back to Jonah. Oh, no, we didn't do your EXP.
Yes. So last week, I don't think I indulged my heritage. I think I did the conspiracy or calculation by, fronting the whole tickets and whatnot, or the fake credentials to get in. And this week, I think I expressed my heritage with the Marcus Primus Fellow. And again, I think I did a calculation or conspiracy with the getting all the information on the red sashes and then conspiring with the lamp blacks to blackmail a bunch of them, pretty much.
Sounds good to me.
And like Daimi did, I also already marked the desperate prowess roll I did last week.
Sounds good.
So,
yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. Yeah, I think you really engaged a lot of the aspects of your character sheet this session. I'm really excited. All right, Jonas, who has been off, and you said what was the trauma that he acquired from last session?
Unstable.
Unstable. So what, he kind of saunters back into the hideout. How's he been doing? Because you come back with wipe stress, right?
Right, but I have the trauma still.
Yep.
I'm still in my bloody clothes. Probably still bleeding a little bit.
You got like a crude bandage.
Basically, yeah.
So
it's like I ripped one of my sleeves off and just kind of tied it around my chest where it was bleeding.
Yeah, so you don't get any downtime activities because you were just like off doing whatever. What's your vice?
My vice is weird.
Right. So you've been out doing like weird shit and like doing all sorts of like weird rituals and like trying to get like magic healing. So you look very, very
Drained.
Drained. So let's talk about your experience from that previous session. You did definitely roll some desperate rolls. Did you mark those?
I don't think I actually rolled desperate. I don't think we were in a desperate position when I got
up right away. Yeah.
Right. But I did express my background.
Okay.
By going the boat route, and that's about all I had a chance to do.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is let's talk briefly about Butch, because Butch is kind of a communal character sheet.
So Butch, he did address a challenge with deception or influence. Drives heritage background. What's his heritage and background?
He used to be a footman. Think of one step below butler. So he was one of the common men who decided to better his lot and become the nobility. So he didn't really address that.
Yeah, I don't think I did anything along those lines at all. And I don't think I have any traumas or vices that I would have engaged with. So probably just the one.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, everybody. I think that'll just about wrap on the Goat Caper. We'll be back soon with another exciting adventure for the Dandies. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you all next time.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.